Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-It Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for 1 bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Mavs Moneyballs Group Therapy. It's about 3:45 here in Dallas. It's Sunday, March 5th. For those listening at a later date, we're recording about an hour after the Mavericks fell to the Phoenix Suns late 130 to 126. It was a pretty entertaining game. I think if I was a passive observer, I might have not wanted to watch this game because it was like there were lots of flopping and weird fake physicality and things of that nature, but there was also just some incredible shot making from both teams. Kyrie was excellent for the Mavericks in that fourth quarter, but Kevin Durant and Devin Booker were just a little bit better. Pair that with the Mavericks' kind of inability to team rebound and the ability to really play defense of any sort. And, you know, you go look at some of the bigger box score numbers. It's kind of shocking that the Mavericks didn't get destroyed. The Suns missed a lot of three-pointers, which I think is frankly something that Dallas schemed for. Josh Okogie was 0 for 8, for example. But they were getting good looks from three. The Ish Wainwright ones were really painful. He was 4 or 5 from 3, and that kind of helped seal the game. But, you know, in a game of 4 superstars, I thought this was pretty fun. You know, I said this on the show that I just recorded with Josh, and a lot of people were talking about how bad Luka looked early on and how he didn't look good during warmups and how he was laid out there and how he was getting treatment and this, that, and the other. We're not going to talk about that because I think we're all thinking the same thing. I mean, you guys can talk about it, but I'm not going to. So let's hang out here for a little bit. And we will we'll get on with our day, get back to it. All right, coming up first is my man Ewan. Hey Ewan, what's going on?
Hey man, what's up? How you feeling after that?
Say that again. My mic wasn't all the way plugged in. I'm an idiot.
I was saying, how you feeling after that loss?
You know, the fact that I felt like that the Suns were going to break it open at some point, and they just never did, speaks to how well the team kind of battled. You know, Rebecca in the comments noted Tim Hardaway was on fire, which is absolutely the truth. Man, this is
yeah.
it's one of the many that, you know, the Mavericks have played. They're 22-19 in clutch games, and it's one of these where it's just like, man, you hate to see him get away with it. I don't think Luka's hit a game-tying or game-winning shot in a long time, and that starts to suck.
Yeah, and it's crazy. You think about it. All the games we pretty much lost since Kyrie has been here has been one-possession games, either to tie or take a lead, and it's like when are we really going to come through and make that shot? But honestly, it's like, I honestly feel like our offense, like, of course, is not the issue. It just feel like we're just one physical big man away or one legit physical defender away from just, all right, this is we're gonna run the league or run the West at least. That's how I feel, because you can pretty much get whatever you want on offense, honestly, but it's just second chance opportunities, and as much as Powell battles, as much as he fights, he just, he just can't always come through.
Yeah. Yeah, and he, the Maxi Kleba being out was, I think, sort of a game-deciding thing when you look at what happened there in the end, because it was DeAndre Ayton who had really been kind of ignored. He controlled the glass, but he didn't really offer much on offense because, frankly, his teammates weren't giving him the ball. But he had a putback there, and I want to say that tied the game. That might have tied the game, and then Durant hit the game winner. And it was Powell took one in the chest on a drive and wasn't even nearby. And there's no other Mavericks capable of getting the rebound with Ayton in there, because Ayton is enormous.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and you can see, like, with Luka complaining and stuff all year long, I can see how the beginning of the game was, because it's like, it gets frustrated. Like, you're getting fouled, you're getting whacked, and the refs is right there, and they're not giving you anything. And then you blow a little bit of wind on the Suns side, and they get a foul. It's like, it's frustrating. And so, I don't know.
So I have a question about that. So just off the top of your head, do you know how many free throws the Mavs had versus the Suns? I do. I'm just curious based off of what.
I know Luka at least had like 15 free throws.
Luka had 19. So the Mavericks had 38 as a team. So it's one of those things where in the first half it really did feel frustrated. But I think as the game wore on, it sort of took care of itself. But that sort of vibe it was really bad for Luka in the first half. Like, he was very frustrated. You could tell.
Yeah. And the end of that, was it the end of the third quarter? The second quarter? I think it was the end of the third quarter.
Bad three.
Well, we had, it's like those possessions, those few possessions, is like, you could have just continued swinging the ball, and he took a bad three with two defenders on him. Like, those last few possessions of the third quarter was bad. That was a bad sequence, and that kind of, put us in a hole. But, like I said, I just feel like we're just, like I said, Maxey really hurt us not being there today, but we're just one big man, capable big man of boxing out from legit just these close games with intangible stuff. We'll see.
It's gonna be crazy, because it'll be at the end of this year, it'll be 2 straight seasons of us having a similar complaint.
Yeah, honestly, it's been more than 2 years. It's been since Tyson Chandler. It's been over 10 years. We asking for a big man.
That might be true.
It's been years. Let's be serious. Well, the last viable big man we had was who actually had size and maybe could get a rebound. Who? Samuel Dalembert, DeJuan Blair. It's just been bad.
Yeah.
If we could address that in the offseason, I think we'll be fine moving forward if Kyrie was to resign. But I don't know what we're going to do moving forward in the playoffs, because we're going to be in games like this for the whole remainder of the regular season. So
don't look ahead at the schedule and see how many road games the Mavericks have, despite being 12-19 on the road.
Yeah, man, we just got to figure out these last possessions, these 2-point games, these 3-point games,
or just not be in a 2-point game to begin with. That'd be nice.
True. All right, man. Thank you.
Of course. Doe in the chat asked, why did Maxey play? So obviously he's coming back from the surgery. I think he was probable, and then during pregame warmups, something didn't feel right, and they're not going to risk. At this point, they're not going to risk it. They want to get to the playoffs with him healthy, so that's why. Brian, welcome back. What's up?
Hey.
I can't hear you. What's going on?
Man, I had fun watching that game.
It was fun.
I shockingly don't really have any complaints about Jason.
Come a little closer to the mic. We're not picking you up with your phone. There we go.
Yo, how's about now? Okay. Yeah, I shockingly don't really have any complaints about Jason Kidd. I thought all of the rotation moves were pretty good in this game. Christian Wood was great off of the bench. Tim Hardaway was great off of the bench. Justin Holiday gave us really good minutes off of the bench. Josh and Tim did the best they could defensively against Kevin Durant. And I don't know. I don't really have any complaints. I don't even have any complaints about the clutch offense because we finally got the shot that we wanted.
That's a good point. Luka just needs to hit it.
Luka caught the ball left wing. Right, exactly. He caught the ball left wing, and then he turned it into a mid-post situation, and he spun around, got the layup that we wanted. He just didn't make it, but I'm much more excited about that process than what we've been seeing all season.
Sure. I think that's fair. I mean, I was telling Josh Bowe in our postgame show, I nitpick a little bit having Timmy in there to guard Durant, but the Mavericks don't have anybody over 6'5". So there's an argument to be made that it really doesn't matter because Kevin Durant is so tall and so pure on those kind of like 12 to 15 foot shots. It's not that dissimilar from Dirk.
Yeah, no, you've got to have, honestly, someone brought this up to me right after the game, and I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, it actually makes sense. I thought Christian Wood also gave like a pretty good defensive effort, especially like contesting at the rim in the second half too. I wouldn't have been mad at having him in just for that. So if Kevin Durant is going to pull up and shoot, okay, it's going to be over a 6'10" guy with long arms instead of a 6'5" guy. Mm-hmm. Or if for some godforsaken reason they had gone back to Aiden in the post, or we needed someone there to, help box him out so that we don't get, like the second to last play where he scored on that putback. It would have been nice to have Wood out there for that, but I can't be mad at them closing with him just because of how awesome he was on both sides of the ball in this game. I get it.
Yeah.
At this point, where in previous games I would not have.
Yeah, I do. Heath makes a good point about Wood not playing in the end there. Maxey makes the right play almost every time. It just does not matter. Not Maxey. Dwight makes the right play almost every time. It just doesn't matter. Whereas Wood, there's some instances like Wood, like just watch Wood on rebounds. The first time he boxes out will be the first time he's ever boxed out. He just doesn't do it. I mean, neither does Luka. So it's not like a Wood alone criticism. It's just when you got a guy like Ayton, you have to put a body on him because he will simply shove you underneath the rim. So,
yeah. We need to do a better job of that. And I think once we address this center position in the offseason, it will be pretty good. But honestly, it was a 2-point game, man. We got the look we wanted. And then we'd still have like the very obvious foul at the end of the first half, where if we get that and Luka gets those free throws, game's won. That's the difference in the game.
Yeah, Sean in the chat notes that Ish Wainwright's threes changed the game. He's right. He's 4 or 5 from 3. But I would bet with the way Luka was not closing out on him, like we give Luka a lot of shit, and rightfully so on defense, there was probably a collective team decision of if Josh Okogie or if this guy gets threes, you let him shoot and you put a body on Ayton.
Yeah, it was the Braun on Justin Holiday thing from last week. We literally just watched this. They decided already they weren't closing out on those threes. And then who the hell is Ish Wainwright? I'm not closing out on him either. It worked on Josh Okogie all game.
Like that dude, I'm looking up his like NBA profile, 6'5", 250 pounds. That dude was thick. Ridiculous. My goodness.
He's a tank.
Right. And so and Harris in the chat says he's a sub 34% 3-point shooter. That's a gamble you take. Right. That's the sort of thing that happened. It like seems to happen to Rudy Gobert every year in the playoffs, where like the guy he has to guard when teams go small all of a sudden heats up, and it's frustrating. But then again, I'm also looking at Josh Okogie's open 8 missed threes, where if that dude hits 2, then it's not a game even earlier. Because it's with 3-point defense, there's some real gambling going on with what you're trying to do. So I find myself like annoyed they lost, but I'm not super fired up about any particular decision other than I really wish Luka would have, whatever was wrong with him, I wish it wouldn't have been, So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our best defensive big is gone, and we play a team that everybody was talking about as like the number 1 contender in the West.
Yeah.
Pretty much down to the wire and basically have them beat. Luka just misses a bunny layup.
Sure.
I'll take that result.
Oh, we'll see where they go from here. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for joining again. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to Sam. Hey, Sam, what's going on?
What's going on, Kirk? How you doing?
Okay, Sunday, my son's birthday party, and I was at this place in Plano that is like it's like a Nerf gun like facility where you just go in and get Nerf guns and shoot one another, and did that for like an hour and a half.
Oh, that sounds fun. I wish I could shoot some things, but it is what it is. But, yeah, I'm like the last guy. It sucks. Like, it was a good game, entertaining game. You just, came out on the short end of it. And I think one thing that Rick always used to do that I used to like is that if you were hot, you were in the game no matter what until you just couldn't do it no more. Like, it didn't matter if you were a starter like Sean Marion. I remember he used to play games all the time, but then if he didn't have it, or if Deshaun Stevenson was hot, Deshaun Stevenson was in the game when Sean Marion was on the bench. And, Jason Kidd doesn't do that, which, like I said, I'm not mad at it per se because it's Christian Wood, so you kind of never know what you're going to get. But he was cooking in the fourth quarter. And I just felt like maybe, just with his length, he could have did a little something different, even though he's not a good defender. He does block shots, which not saying he will stop Durant, of course, but, that length may have done something different. Maybe. Who knows? But I don't know. It's like I said, it's just the thing that makes this loss suck is that fact that we've just given away so many games early on in the year. The first Suns game, the Bucks game, the OKC game, games like that to where, if you lose a game like this, it's like, oh, well, you just lost a game like this. It happens. But now it's like, okay, now we're in the 7th seed, and now we have 17 games, if I believe, and like most of them pretty much going to be on the road.
Yep, 10 of the next 17 are road games.
Yeah, and now you're going to have to do everything you can to try to stay out the play-in, which, God knows, because we already lost the tiebreaker with Minnesota. Now we're tied with the Suns. I think we still have a game with the Warriors left, so if we don't win,
there's an argument to be made that they don't finish, like that they don't make the play-in. Like, I don't want to be that guy because I don't think that happens. But if they continue at their current road, like if they continue, because they're 12-19 right now on the road, which is not great, like 40% of the wins on the road. Like, let's say they win 4 of 10 on.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
4 of 10 or 4 of so it's 4 wins and 6 losses, and so at that point they would be under 500 just from those games. And then you have the 7 home games that they've played 500 basketball for a while at home. So things could go sideways. I don't think they will, because this team has a little bit of pride, but I think it's going to be uncomfortable for us.
I think this is just my opinion, just looking at the team at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Worst case, we should be the 8th seed. Worst case, we should be 6, 7, or 8. I feel like, and obviously, if you're 7 and 8, even if you lose that game, you still have a home game against 9 and 10. So, odds are we should win one of those 2 games because we got the guys that we have with Luka and Kyrie.
Right.
But the defense being what it is, the rebound being what it is. Man, I sound a downer, but I almost kind of want to get to the offseason at this point, just kind of start over, because it's frustrating just watching, games come down to things that we knew we had problems with that we didn't address them, or we tried to address them with JaVale McGee,
right.
and stuff like that. So who knows? But I'm not gonna give up hope, I guess, yet.
No, there wasn't really any, there were some a few frustrating things in this game, but other than it came down to really impressive shot making.
Yeah, and then Luka, missing a shot that he normally makes 99% of the time. So it's just it's one of those games. But like I said, it's just one of those things to where when that happens, all those games that you lost earlier in the year come back to bite you, and then that's what's happening now because Jason Kidd wants to play, project with the team and wasn't taking it serious until now. Now it might come back and bite him.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, Sam, thanks for hanging out.
Hey, no problem. Have a good afternoon.
Derek, it's been a while. Welcome back to the show. What's going on?
Kirk, what's going on?
Just here,
I feel you. It's glad. Hey, at least we have a game that's midday versus at 9 o'clock at night.
If this was a 10 o'clock at 9 game, I'd be mad just because of the lateness.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those are the worst. Anyway, just a couple of quick points. And of course, I'm more frustrated with these losses than we are wins. But the what was I going to say? How much do you think, of course we didn't have Maxey today, and he would have definitely made a difference in this game. How much do you think that factored into the outcome? And then also, they brought this up on the broadcast, but and just a general question about how many games do you think it will take to basically just incorporate, after a trade, the new people coming in, how fast that takes to get people involved? Because as we've seen, it takes a little while. Honestly, looking back, just this past Philadelphia game seemed like the first game that Kyrie and Luka really just kind of started to mesh, like as far as offensively goes, and just the whole game. I don't know. What are your thoughts on both of those things?
So the numbers, since Kyrie's joined the team, the numbers have been off the charts when they're both off the floor. I think there's some aesthetic stuff that can kind of drive us crazy when Luka or Kyrie is not doing anything. But those two being on the floor together has enough like gravity and weight to what defenses have to do to where it's already making a big difference. We're not going to get, they each scored 30 plus points tonight. Like, and if you're a little unhappy about the way the offense looked, I wouldn't blame you, because there's times where it gets really gunky, but it works. And so it's hard to really, I've not understood the sort of national fascination with, when is it going to work? It's like, it works. They can't guard. Like, they're giving up 60 plus points a game in the paint. That's what's killing them. They only gave up 52 tonight, I think, but only 52. These are some 2003 style Mavs games. That's kind of the problem right now. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, for sure. Like, the defense is definitely the issue, and I don't think you're gonna get anybody to disagree with that. Like, that's at this point in the season, it's like, what are you gonna do? We already talked about Maxey coming back, like that he's the savior. He came back for a couple games, and it was like, yeah, he's decent when he's in there, but I
think he makes a difference tonight in a 2-point game. I think he makes a difference. I don't know where, but I do think it matters enough to where, like, a lot of folks want to see Wood in the game late. I don't think you can play Wood without Maxey in a late game situation. But again, there's some complicated things going on, but overall, I feel like this is not, now that we have enough of a sample size, this makes sense. Like, they're just not going to be good on defense at all.
Yeah. Like I agree. Like, Maxey's definitely going to make a difference, like on a game like today. But like, I don't know if you caught the like pregame or whatever, and even like during the halftime show, just, they've said multiple times, like, oh, the Mavs, they don't play any defense. Like, ever since the Kyrie trade, like, oh, this team doesn't play defense. Like, they're just going to score at will on us. I definitely understand that to a sense, but it's also like, it is what it is. Like, we're not the worst defensive team ever, but I get it, but also I'm like, okay, whatever, like,
I'm having fun. Like, I will say that, like, there's enough going on now to where I'm no longer like getting to, you cover a team long enough, particularly a team that doesn't change the roster up enough, to where it really starts to feel like a slog. And like, what we're watching now and some of the occasional weird and crazy stuff that happens is not boring. Kyrie's like shot making in the fourth quarter was really cool. And it's like, you paired these two guys together, and it's appointment television. It really is.
Oh yeah. And the only other thing I'll say that was interesting about this game was like the bench scoring. Cause obviously we have Wood and we have Hardaway coming off the bench, which, like, on any given night, they can go for 20 plus, depending on the night. Versus the Suns, which they don't really have anybody that can do that. So it'll just be interesting coming playoff time. If we end up facing them again. Just what that will bring. They got all the pieces to make a run, but there's some things that they need come playoff time. That who knows what will happen. So, but I appreciate it, Kirk. Thanks.
Sure, glad to have you back in here. All right, let's go to Tyron. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, Kirk?
Good to hear from you again. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. I'm just kind of glad that it's over. I hate nationally broadcast games because they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
I like Hubie, but he was fucking grouchy.
He was today, right? And it's Doncic, buddy, not Doncic.
That's an old person thing. It's like my mom. My mom refers to it as a washing machine, and I'm like, lady, this is killing me. It's not there is no R in this.
But yeah, I mean, it was. I'm okay with today's loss. The Mavericks look great today. All things considered, they looked pretty decent last game as well. I'm just kind of in the mind frame at this point of expect the worst, hope for the best. We're not. I really don't see us going that far this year. However, I think we do have the pieces in place to really do something over the summer.
Yeah.
One thing that we liked about having Nico Harris and, I mean, begrudgingly Jason Kidd now, everybody's banging on Jason Kidd. But one thing that we can say about them is that they were able to attract certain players to Dallas. Now we have Kyrie Irving on the roster. The whole league loves Kyrie. So hopefully this summer we'll be able to fill in some of those gaps. But, I mean, as of right now, with the way the season's going, with the roster that we have, it's kind of like, getting mad at a puppy for chewing up shit. That's what puppies do, and you left your stuff out for the puppy to chew on. You know what I mean? You can't get too mad at this point.
That analogy may hit close to home, as my puppy got a hold of one of my AirPods Friday. So,
oh no,
I know what you mean.
Oh no. But yeah, that's all I had. I'm nothing to be mad about at all. Hopefully Maxey gets better sooner rather than later, so we can get him back on the court and see where the season goes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. Let's go to Emmanuel. What's up? Thanks for joining. Hit that unmute button and tell us what you got. If you're in the chat, come back out to the main page, and the mute button is there along the bottom.
Hey, Kirk.
Welcome.
Hey, yeah, it's my first time, long-time listener.
Welcome to the show.
I just want to talk about. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I just want to talk about Luka, because the team has a lot of problems that are not fixable. So I have to talk about that it is fixable. It's Luka, and I think is the last few games he's very talking with the refs and arguing, and I think he's maybe hurt. And until he changed something, we're not going to start winning. We don't have the firepower. So, yeah.
So let me respond to you. I'm getting a little feedback. Could you hit your mute button? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to keep talking to you here. So my main thoughts on this is that I think that Luka has sort of tipped over in the sense of he has had a reputation since his rookie year, but the last several weeks it feels like everything is up a notch, where he's way more demonstrative, he's way more upset. It goes back to what Kidd was talking about following the game, the Lakers game, and you don't shed a reputation overnight, but you got to start somewhere, and Luka has to commit to less chatter, and he still hasn't. It's been 3 games, and he still hasn't done it. I don't know when he does it. I know it's part of his being, but it's lost. It's no longer even charming. The non-Mavs fans I know are pretty tired of watching him in terms of this stuff.
Yeah, I can see on Twitter that people are starting to really hate him, but it's not just that. I think he's just overweight. He's at least 10 pounds overweight. You can see it in his body. And when he drives to the basket, he's not the same. And it's really telling. And until he changed that, I don't know what's going to happen with this team.
Yeah. It's funny because a guy that is usually in this chat, his name's Harold. He's not here today, but he's like Luka Doncic Weight Watch, and he sent me a message that he thought Luka looked better today. And I fully expect Luka to show up if they make the playoffs, and I think they make the playoffs. But if they're able to stay out of the play-in those 5 days where he just like goes in like a detox for a few days, and he always looks good. He always looks good coming into the playoffs. I just wish that it were like he's got to put the pieces together in a consistent way that lasts for more than 15 to 20 game stretches. I know the season is long. I also know he's a young man. I do not like James Harden comps, but we're there, and I think they're applicable at this point. And James Harden, his first 2 seasons with the Rockets, he was like dreadfully out of shape. Not necessarily heavy, but he couldn't keep his wind. And then all of a sudden things click into shape, and he's an MVP candidate for 3 straight years because he's a tank. There's one stretch of games where he misses 3 games in 3 seasons. Like that. And that's what, honestly, I think if Luka wants to play the way he wants to play, that's going to be part of the development cycle for him. I do think he gets there. You know, it's disappointing when he like there's something about his body type too, where he also just seems to like show a little bit of bloating. Tony Romo, Dallas Cowboys quarterback, had the same problem. I think I have this problem, but I'm a nearly 40-year-old man. But yeah, these are good points.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
Hope
Kirk.
you come back.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. All right, coming up next, then let's go to my man Micah, and then Frank is going to close this out. Micah, what's up? Give Micah a second to find the unmute button. See if he's in another app doing something else. It's not letting him talk. Probably because he switched apps. That's okay. Micah, come back up here in a second. Frank, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? How do you get me? How do you read me?
Sound good to me.
Sorry, dude. I've been drinking a little bit, so if I start slurring,
Outstanding.
boot me. No, man. I caught the last 90 seconds of your conversation with Emmanuel. Don't know which I've already hit on, but the drunk me says, I wish. I don't care what the context is, just because Luka's our whiny. He's a whiny ass baby, but he's our whiny ass baby, and I wish he would have. I don't know.
I like it.
Punched Booker.
No, it's great to have real enmity. Is that the right word? Like the disdain, the open disdain, we don't have near enough of. There's all the politicking and that sort of stuff, but like players generally tend to be like on good terms. Those two don't like each other, and I think that's good.
And, you know, Twitter is full of hyperbolic takes. Everybody, oh, this guy's a front runner. Oh, I've never seen a bigger front runner. Booker to me is tier 1 front runner. Luka's quote at the end was, I agree. You know, don't wait until the end of the game to talk shit. But I think
it's a great quote.
They might not talk shit to each other during the game because they don't want to be the reason why the other person
flipped
the switch mid game, and they don't want to be the blame for, you know, pulling the Bears tail or whatever. But I don't have much to add, man. We competed. Maxey not being there really hurt us. If you really watch the game, Reggie, Tim, they all played pretty good defense at the point of attack. Booker and Durant made ridiculous mid-range jumper after mid-range. They just were in their bag, dude. They just couldn't miss. And I mean, I give them a B+ for effort. Luka really killed us. He oversagged a lot because he just did, not respecting Wainwright. Okogie missed so much that they actually started putting in Craig and Wainwright at the end, and those guys actually burnt Luka. Maybe he had kind of gotten some he got a little too comfortable watching Okogie miss as much as he did from the corner. Those guys came in, really burn us. And you know, kudos to those guys, man. You got to make jumpers when you're open. And how much do we complain about our guys not hitting open jump shots? So I mean, kudos.
Yep. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate you. Micah, let's give it another go. My man Micah just has the most fun with this app. Doesn't seem like it's going to work for you tonight, guy. Don't know why. That's all right. Not much to add to this game anyways, to be honest. Oliver, what's going on? Oliver still got that Porzingis jersey in his repertoire. Maybe Oliver didn't mean to join. That's okay.
Hey, Kurt.
Oh, hey, there we are. Welcome.
Yeah, just want to bring me in.
Sure.
Yeah, I need to change that with the KP jersey. Oh well. I appreciate the early start time being over in the UK. so 6 p.m. for me, so not a late one. But I think everything's really been said. KD's just too smooth, really, when it comes down to it at the end. I don't know how you think about that. There's just no one Mavs really have to guard him, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's watching KD is one of my favorite things to do when he's on because it's just so pretty. And it was hard to at one point in the game he was 9 of 12 from the floor. It's like, my goodness. Like what do you do against that guy other than like foul him?
And even then you foul him and he goes to the free throw line and makes all his free throws. Yeah. So I think he missed one tonight. But one of my friends is a Suns fan and he doesn't want us in the playoffs. He can't stand it. He is a nervous wreck. He can't stand Luka. And I'm like, well, I can't stand Booker. So there you are.
That's what sports is about. Like genuine, uncomfortable, like not hatred, but like frustration. I would like it. Like there's, you look through the Western Conference right now and I kind of would want to play all these teams because I think each one, like the Mavericks are just capable. They're capable of losing to every single team, and they're capable of beating every single team, except maybe the Nuggets. I don't think they can beat the
Nuggets. I just the ones I don't want is I don't want Suns because we got no one to stop KD, but I don't want Clippers because I've got PTSD from the other two times. I don't. Kawhi scares me.
I don't play Clippers. Yeah, no thank you. I get that. Yeah. That's even though they're a mess right now, but I think that's a fair point.
Well, they're a mess because they load manage so much.
They signed friggin' they were like 0-5 since they signed Westbrook. Incredible stuff there. So
yeah. Anyway, I'll let you get off. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Oliver. Appreciate you joining. All right, guys, this is fun. The other podcast should be up in your feed shortly. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back on Tuesday night, and maybe I will have something Tuesday morning. Just seeing what anybody writes around and do a Moneyball minute. We'll see. Everybody be good. Have a good Sunday.